These are this afternoon's top stories. New TV broadcast system handed over to ZIZ. Barbados expresses interest in Trinidad and Tobago's natural gas. And U.S. states sue Trump administration over census questions. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Thursday, March 29, 2018. I am Shaira Flanders. Nationally, as plans to upgrade ZIZ's TV broadcast systems continue, a handing over ceremony was held at the station on Thursday morning to present the new equipment. Minister of Information, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris officially handed over the equipment to Acting General Manager Via Galloway. The handing over marks the end of Phase 1 of the revamping process. This will be followed by installation and training sessions. The equipment is being provided by TV ProGear out of Glendale, California. The equipment was financed with assistance from the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. In other news, on Wednesday, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris held discussions with Mrs. Charlene Shillingford Micklem, chargé d'affaires of the Eastern Caribbean States Embassy to Belgium and missions to the European Union. Mrs. Shillingford Micklem reported on the efforts being made by the Eastern Caribbean States Embassy in Brussels to assist countries like St. Kitts and Nevis that have been listed as non-cooperative tax jurisdictions by the European Union. She noted that OECS member states are committed to ensuring that they meet international compliance requirements and anticipates that St. Kitts and Nevis will be removed from the EU list within a matter of months. Other topics that were discussed during the important dialogue included the safeguarding of the reputation of the country's CBI program. Prime Minister Harris commended Mrs. Shillingford Micklem and the staff of the Eastern Caribbean States Embassy to Belgium for their continued work in furthering the interests of member states. In other news, police are investigating a number of break-ins that occurred at the food court in Bird Rock late Monday night. According to a police report, at about 8 a.m. on Tuesday, a call was made to the police to report that 6 containers that housed various businesses were broken into. The police say a number of business owners and employees arrived for work Tuesday morning and discovered that the containers had been ransacked on the inside and a number of items, including cash, had been stolen. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. The police are asking anyone with information about this incident to contact the Criminal Investigations Department at the Bastia Police Station at 465-2241 or their nearest police station. In other news, on the local scene, students from the Tucker Clark Primary and Beach Island Primary Schools are the beneficiaries of a recent donation of kites from local kite maker Curvis Jeffers and telecommunications company Flow. During a handover ceremony on Tuesday, marketing representative for Flow, Onika Hewitt, said this activity was designed to assist cultural preservation.
In a move to ensure that this tradition lives on in St. Kitts, telecommunications company Flow partnered with Mr. Curvis Jeffers for our annual kite making project. This project is to expose the students to the finer points of kite engineering for optimum flight. Today, we are here to donate and present Flow branded kites that were carefully handcrafted by Mr. Curvis Jeffers.
Hewitt took the time to thank Jeffers for his dedication to helping children in the community.
And as an active member of the community, we know that such traditions are very vital in helping to preserve our culture and heritage. This is why we are truly elated to partner with Mr. Jeffers in engineering the youths in this exciting activity. On behalf of Team Flow, I want to commend Mr. Jeffers for his inventiveness and dedication in coming up with this kite-making project.
Flow marketing representative Onika Hewitt. Moving on to news on the regional scene, the Barbados government has expressed interest in purchasing natural gas from Trinidad and Tobago. This is according to Barbadian Minister Darcy Boyce, who participated in the regional symposium entitled Strengthening CARICOM Energy Collaboration at the Marriott Hotel in Port of Spain on Monday. We hear more in this CNews report.
The theme of Monday's regional symposium being Strengthening CARICOM Energy Collaboration Barbados Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for energy, Darcy Boyce, took the opportunity to voice his country's interest in importing gas from Trinidad and Tobago.
There were some special issues a few years ago which made it almost impossible to get product out of Trinidad and Tobago. Now that we have seen the development going again in production, Minister, we are hopeful that we will be able to import from our CARICOM partner in the full spirit of the CARICOM single market and economy.
Mr. Boyce's offer was met with receptiveness from Energy Minister Franklin Khan, who in delivering the keynote address for the day affirmed Trinidad and Tobago's commitment to leading the energy charge in whatever way it can for the benefit of its CARICOM neighbors.
The opportunity is there for us as a region to create our own special and unique energy cluster. We have been successful in other spheres of activities as a region, and collaboration in energy should be no less achievable.
Stressing the importance of CARICOM member states working together, Minister Khan referenced last October's oil spill which crossed the borders into Venezuelan territory. The energy minister said this could have had much worse consequences.
And it's largely because of that this didn't blow up into an international fiasco.
As this country leads the charge on natural gas, the minister also pledged that TNT will be open to learning from those in the region who have made significant strides towards boosting renewable energy. Janine Brown, ST News.
The Board of Directors of the Caribbean Development Bank has approved U.S. $750,000 in funding to assist the Caribbean community with strengthening intra-regional trade. We hear more in this HTS St. Lucia report.
St. Lucia is one of 5 CARICOM countries expected to benefit from 3 Caribbean Development Bank initiatives to enhance trade within the regional grouping. The other nations are Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, Guyana and Suriname. Bank officials say the program will assist producers with overcoming some of the challenges encountered when trying to export their products and will therefore enhance their ability to increase market access, source new markets, and integrate into global value chains. It will be implemented by the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality, known as CROSSQ. Manufacturers, exporters, and service providers in the region continue to face barriers to trade, and the hope is to raise the standard of production processes and enhance competitiveness. The CDB-funded interventions will assist with bringing regional goods in line with international standards. They include the development of national quality policies intended to protect consumers and the environment, technical assistance to 2 testing labs for accreditation, and the development and implementation of an awareness campaign to sensitize partners including women, indigenous people, youth and other minority groups on matters related to the development and implementation of quality policies. CROSSQ is scheduled to begin the 18-month program in May 2018. The various components complement the CDB's strategic objective of supporting inclusive and sustainable growth and development within its borrowing member countries.
Moving on to news on the international scene, several U.S. states are suing the Trump administration over what will be included in the next census. They are arguing against a question which asks people if they are U.S. citizens. Many say it is not a way to understand the makeup of the country, but rather an attempted power grab. Al Jazeera's Shihab Ratansi reports from Washington, D.C.
Some 12 states say they will sue the Trump White House to prevent it from adding a question about citizenship on the 2020 U.S. Census. But the administration insists it's only asking because it's concerned about ensuring the future voting rights of minorities.
This is a question that's been included in every census since 1965, with the exception of 2010 when it was removed. We've contained this question that's provided data that's necessary for the Department of Justice to protect voters.
But not only was there no U.S. Census in 1965, the last time a similar question was asked was in 1950. The US Census has been carried out every 10 years since 1790. Its findings are used to get a true picture of the people of the United States and affect government, business, social research and beyond. Federal government spending on vital state services and infrastructure is dependent on the count. The Census Bureau already knows it's undercounting the US's population. Its own research shows the reason is mistrust, particularly among immigrant communities which already feel under attack by the government. Angela Manso worked at the Census Bureau for 5 years.
It's always an issue whenever the government is requesting information from people who reside in the country. And it's not just immigrants that are affected. There's distrust of government at all levels, at all socioeconomic levels and geographically across this country. How do you reassure a public that there's nothing untoward going on?
No political interference.
Exactly, exactly.
An undercount in US states with large immigrant communities will have funding consequences for all citizens in such states, whether Republican stronghold Texas or staunchly Democrat California. There is a clue to the motivation for this census change. The investigative organization ProPublica found that the request for the question's inclusion was drafted by a lawyer called John Gore.
Gore was defending redistricting maps that were challenged as by opponents as racial gerrymandering, essentially drawing districts to sort of slice up certain communities in ways that would be favorable to the Republican Party.
Under the Constitution, the US's political districts are drawn up as a result of population size and not citizenship. So if districts with large immigrant populations are undercounted in the census, they will lose seats in Congress. And these districts are often, though not always, Democratic strongholds. Ethnically diverse cities and states will lose representation. Predominantly white areas may gain. And that may be the key for a Republican Party keen to neutralize the US's changing racial demographics in future elections. Shia Bertansi, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Shares in the online retailer Amazon have slumped following reports that U.S. President Donald Trump is looking to change the way the company is taxed. At one point, stocks fell by as much as 7.4%, wiping more than $50 billion from Amazon's market value. Al Jazeera's Scheherazade Ghafour reports from Washington, D.C.
At closing bell, the price of Amazon shares had dropped by some 5% in the course of the day. That's a loss of close to $50 billion to shareholders. This is a consequence of a report that President Trump is, and I quote, obsessed with Amazon.
I applaud the formation of the Innovation Council.
And angry at its owner, Jeff Bezos, here in conversation with President Trump during a round table at the White House. The last time Amazon suffered this scale of loss followed this tweet in August last year. Amazon is doing great damage to tax-paying retailers, declared President Trump. Towns, cities and states throughout the U.S. are being hurt, many jobs being lost. Perhaps not coincidentally, Bezos is also owner of the Washington Post that has been twinned with Amazon in disparaging presidential tweets. The report quotes an unnamed source as saying Trump has wondered aloud if there may be any way to go after Amazon with antitrust or competition law, despite this being the domain of the Federal Trade Commission and the Justice Department. The White House denies a particular policy is being considered against a particular organization.
We have no announcements and no specific policies or actions that we're currently pushing forward or considering taking. The president has said many times before he's always looking to create a level playing field for all businesses, and this is no different. And he's going to always look at different ways, but there aren't any specific policies on the table at this time.
An assurance that may ring hollow to shareholders who have lost billions as the possible consequence of a president once again publicly thinking aloud. Scheherazade Ghafour, Al Jazeera.
And now for the weather. Present weather shows cloudy skies. The temperatures today will peak at 76 degrees Fahrenheit, and there's also a bit of humidity in the air. A gentle breeze is blowing at a speed of 12 miles per hour from the north-northeast. Seas are moderate with wave heights reaching up to 6 feet. Weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis indicates we can expect partly cloudy skies with a low chance of showers today, and tonight will be partly cloudy with a 20% or slight chance of showers. Sunset today will be at 6:24 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:05 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Shaira Flanders. Have a good one.